Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with our next lecture in normalization, that is first normal form. Let's quickly revise what we did in our last lecture. In last lecture, we have seen what problems arise due to data redundancy. Now, what is data redundancy? Data redundancy means repetition of similar data in a database, which was increasing the size of database. So that was the problem we were facing while creating the table. Now second was how normalization makes the data more meaningful and usable. Okay, that's what we have seen in our previous lecture. Now today we will start with the first normal form. Okay, the first normal form in DBMS normalization. First normal form is nothing but the step 1 of a normalization process. Okay, means it is the first step when you start with your normalization. It is required to make a scalable table design which can be easily extended. Okay, you have to design a scalable table. For that you at least need a first normal form to be applied onto your database. Also, if your table is not even in a first normal form, it will be considered as a poor database design. Means your table should be at least in the first normal form. We can say that the first normal form is the first requirement of database design and should follow at least the first normal form always. Now the first normal form is nothing but the step 1 to move to second and third normal form. Now let's move on to the next slide. Now what is the rules, different rules of a first normal form that we are going to discuss one by one. Also we will see some examples. Okay, now rule 1 of the first normal form says that each column should contain the atomic values. Okay, now what do we mean by an atomic value? Atomic value means in each column there should be, for a particular record, only one value in the any of the columns. Okay, means it should not contain the multiple values for a single column. Entries like a comma b or b comma a in the same column violate this rule. Means what? You are not supposed to store multiple values in the same column. That means it should not contain the multiple values. That's what it is said. What is rule 2 say? The rule 2 says that a column should contain the values that are of the same type. Means there should not be different type of data stored in a different column. Means in a names column, you're not supposed to save the roll number. Maybe in roll numbers column, you're not supposed to save date of birth and so on. Do not mix the different value in any of the column. Rule 3 says that each column should have the unique name. Means the title of each column should be unique in a particular table. Same column name lead to the confusion at the time of retrieving the data. Now let's check the fourth rule. Rule 4 says that you can store your data in any order, that doesn't matter because we can fetch any record that we want. Now students, let's check the examples and we will see how these rules are being implemented in the first normal form. Okay, now I have here three tables here. First table you can check here, name and date of birth. Okay, means again in this table this is a violation of first normal form rule. That is nothing but two column is having same title. So this is the violation. You should avoid having same names or same title in a same table. Here if you want to stay, for example, first name and last name, so you should mention it properly, F name, L name and so on. Next violation of rule is, here you can see in the names column we are trying to save the age, where age is not a name type. Means here the name column should contain only the name, maybe a student name, maybe an employee name, but it should contain name. We should not mix the values while saving it in the table. Third violation is, here you can see two different values are stored in a mobile column. So that is again the violation of a first normal form, because what we need is we should store only the atomic values. So this is a poor database design. Now let's see what first normal form says. Let's take an example. With the help of example we will normalize the table. Okay, here I have a student table which contain three columns: roll number, name and subject. Now here you can observe roll number 1 Sheena. Her subject contains OS and DBMS. This is a violation of first normal form, because as we know it should contain the atomic values. So this is a violation. Similarly for roll number 3 Sabha, she is learning C and C++. Again this is not an atomic value. So what we have to do is we need to have the implementation of first normal form here. So let's go for it. How to solve this problem? Okay. For that we have to break this table to have the atomic value in each column. Okay, means C comma C plus plus or OS DBMS, these are not atomic values. Okay, they are multiple values stored in a same column. So we need to have atomic value in each column. For that, maybe some of the value will be repeated, but subject column values will remain the same for each row. So table will be in a first normal form. Now let's check how this table will look after we convert it into the first normal form. See here, roll number 1 Sheena OS, again roll number 1 Sheena DBMS, means we have break these two records. Okay, similarly roll number 3 Sabha C and roll number 3 Sabha C++. So now we can say that our table is in a first normal form. So this is how we implement the first normal form rules. Now in the next lecture we will continue with the second normal form. Thank you, students.